What's going on? What's going on, people? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I don't know what that is. 2022. Glad to see you guys. We made it. We made it. We made it. So now on to bigger and better things. Today is, it's the third. Today's the third. Hopefully you started off right. We're all at 0 or equal or maybe 100. I remember teachers used to say, you had an A. You have an A right now. All you have to do is keep it. Um, some teachers could say, you got a 0. You need to start making these points up. Listen, real quick before I get into this, getting to the bag 2022. I woke up this morning and walked outside. It was a little chilly. It was a little nippy. Anyone who knows me knows I do not like cold weather. And it wasn't too bad. It kind of warmed up during the daytime, and then it got chilly again. But I couldn't complain. I couldn't complain because I was on a call today, and the agent who I was on the call with, the real estate agent, was in Alaska. She said it was negative 25 degrees with 5 feet of snow. I can't complain about, I don't know, what is it, 68, 70 right now? Gotta love Florida. Gotta love Florida. All right, cool. I'm done. I'm ready to get into it because it's past my bedtime. You all know I get up at 3:30 in the morning, but I do this for the love of it. So cool. Let's talk about getting to the bag, and I want to start off. Let me preface it. It's sad that I have to preface it this way. It's sad, but it's reality. Listen, I'm gonna talk. Everything that I'm talking about, I'm hoping that you all do whatever it is that you do with integrity and character. Integrity and character. Money means absolutely nothing. I don't care how much money you have if you don't have any integrity or character as you do whatever it is that you're doing. Okay? So you can make $1 million, you can make $1 billion. If you have no integrity and character, it doesn't matter. Because I definitely won't respect you, and you're not going to respect yourself. It's going to make you highly lonely. Real quick housekeeping, of course, remember to like and share. Remember to like and share. This might be a two-part. This might be a two-parter because I don't want to go too long today. I don't want to get too, I want to get in depth with the things that I'm talking about. Okay, so I want to go into the first thing after we get past integrity and character. Okay. And I'm not going to go too far into mindset. I beat mindset to death last year. So I want to get into some tangible things, things that you can be thinking about as you get to the bag in 2022. Here are some of the reasons to get to the bag in 2022 is that we're at a point now where this is going to be one of the biggest wealth shifts probably in our history, definitely since I've been alive. Although I'm not that old. But in probably the last, I don't know, probably since 1915, 1917. I'm talking about steel, big steel, railroad, all that good stuff. Now is that time of that wealth transfer. Now it's time for you to get you some. Now it's time for you to start building up some cash reserves. I know that's what I plan on doing this entire year. Building up cash reserves, getting all of your, your taxes, your credit, all that stuff right, building up your cash reserves so that you can start to pounce on these different opportunities as they become available to you. We're talking about big, cryptocurrency, huge, NFTs, huge, real estate, huge. You can't do any of this thing without some form of liquidity and capital and, having all your, getting organized. Whether that be your taxes, whether that be your companies, whether that be, I'm going to slow down, excuse me. Whether that's your taxes, your company, or your corporations, your networks, if you don't have any money or you don't have any liquidity and you're working on these things, one of the things that you can do that doesn't necessarily require lots of money is to start networking. Getting around the right people. It's going to help you on multiple different avenues. One of them is that you're going to start to identify the people that you don't need to be around, which is key. You need to separate from people that you don't want to be around. And there's a lot of snakes. There's a lot of people who don't have integrity and character. So you need to pay attention. And the only way you're going to understand that is through experience and through knowing. I went through countless networking events and meetings to figure out who is the real, who is the fake. Okay? There's a lot of there's a lot of capping happening. There's a lot of people who are presenting themselves and they're not who they say they are. Okay? Cool. Number 1 or 2. You have to get a high paying skill. You want to get a skill that pays high. A skill that you can live off of. Even the average of it, you're going to make pretty decent money. If you're an average plumber, if you're an average electrician, you're going to make decent money. You can make some decent money. Average AC technician, an average engineer, an average coder, an average salesperson. I want to say. A high paying skill is if you're average, you can make some decent amount of money. Okay. I put mastery should have probably been another category, but I want to talk about just getting this high paying skill. Then when you master a high paying skill, that will catapult you into the stratosphere. If you can master any high paying skill. What are some high paying skills or jobs? Communication. Anything in communications is pretty good. IT. You can be average IT and make a decent amount of money. Coding is huge right now. And internet security, engineering. I already named a couple of trades. Me coming from a lot of construction background, etc. If you're average at your trades, and when I'm saying average means that you show up, you do your job. It's not the best. It's not the most efficient. You're just doing it. You're going to make decent money in these different areas. If you master these areas, you can pretty much name your price. Let's talk about construction. If you're an average tile layer, you lay tile. You can get about $2.50, $2 to $2.50 a square foot. Average. Probably it's a little bit higher now, actually. It's closer to $3 now. But let's say $3. Let's say $3. $3 average tile layer. You have a job, 1,000 square feet. Probably a living room, a kitchen, a dining room, something like that in an average home. Making $3,000. If you're average, that job to lay that 1,000 square feet of tile, it's probably going to take you about a week, maybe a week and a half, depending on how much you work. Maybe a little less than that. I wouldn't advise that you lay down 1,000 square feet by yourself. So say you get a helper, you got to pay your helper. So this is a $3,000 job at $3 a square foot. You pay your helper. Say it takes about a week and a half. You pay your helper $100 a day, $500 a week, $1,000 in 2 weeks. You make $2,000. Right? That's an average tile layer. A person that's going to show up. Excuse me. Let's say you're a master tile layer. You're charging like $4.55 to get it done. You actually don't even need to charge per square foot. You can charge by the job. Which, if you charge by the job, someone could break it down in the square foot. Well, how much square foot is it? And listen, I'm a master tile layer. I'm not charging by the square foot. I charge by the job. You can figure it out if you want to, but I'm going to do this for $5,000. Not only are you a master tile layer, you're going to get it done and it's going to look better. You'll probably do it quicker. So you'll probably get that same job done in 3 to 4 days. Call it a week. So now let's say you have the same helper, a decent helper. You're paying $500. You save $500 because you're not paying for the extra week. $500 off top, and you're charging more for it. This is once you start to hit mastery over something, and this translates into any other. And if you all can hear me, please type like a 1 in the chat, because I might just be talking to myself. This can translate into this is going to translate into more money, less headache, and I'm going to tell you something else. I'm going to let you all in on the secret. People who are willing to pay more. What's going on, Natasha? Thank you so very much. People who are willing to pay more, they don't give you as much headache. People who penny pinch when you're performing a service or doing a job. Oh, cool. Okay, thanks, Natasha. I'm glad you can hear me. Thank you. I appreciate you. People who penny pinch they nitpick on everything. People who pay more just expect you to get the job done and done correctly and in an efficient manner. They tend to be better customers. Higher paying customers tend to just be better customers overall. Okay? So get one of these high paying, and like I said, I have a construction background. I'm in real estate sales. So I'm going to tend to give you examples of real estate and construction, etc. However, this goes across all bounds. This goes across all different occupations and industries. Find you an occupation or a skill. I would rather get a skill than get an occupation or a job. Get a skill. This would translate everywhere. Okay. Next, for the skills. And I forgot to type all this stuff in my banner, so forgive me. You're going to want to niche down. You don't want to work for everybody. You want to pick a certain demographic or psychographic, and you want to stay within that demographic. Okay? You want to stay within that industry. That demographic. You want to stay within those people. You are not for everybody. And especially once you get this high paying skill and you master it, you don't want to work. You don't even want to work for everybody. You want to put it out there so that people actually don't it repels them. You want to repel everyone that you don't want to work with. How do you do that? I'm glad you asked. You need to write down who your target customer is or client, whatever it is that you're doing. Figure out who your target client is and just speak to them. Right? Let's go back to the construction. Let's go back to tile. You only want to lay down marble tile. You want to deal with higher end homes, maybe not the top 5%, but you want the top 25%. Okay? You're only marketing to this 25%. Not saying that the other people can't hire you, but when they come to hire you, they know that you're coming at a premium because you are the master of your craft, right? So you just give them a number and it is what it is. And you can give them your stipulations. They're asking to work with you. That's the best. Matter of fact, that's the best thing to do is have people come to you to ask you for work and you just give them a number. How much do you cost? Probably more than you can afford. Right? And here's the interesting part. They will hire you, but they'll have expectation. They'll expect, and you should be able to look at deal with your customers accordingly and figure out who it is that you want to work with. And please, all money is not good money. So sometimes, even if they can afford to do it, if they don't fit, if they don't knock off certain squares, top 3 things that you want. There's something called the ELF, easy, likable, and friendly, or something, lucrative and friendly. Right? Those are the kind of customers that you may want. Those are the kind of customers that I look for anyway within the real estate business. And those are who you work for. Anything else, say no. Because what happens is they take your time away from dealing with people who you want to deal with. Okay? And here, and let's be clear, as you start to gain mastery, you may have to work. I mean, you have to pay bills, right? You may have to work with some people that you don't necessarily want to work with initially. But that's why you're gaining mastery so that you can eventually be the pick and choose. You're able to pick and choose who you don't want to work with. And niche down. You are not for everyone. I'm in real estate. I rarely go past Boynton Beach anymore. I don't. I live in Palm Beach Gardens. I'll go list, but to show a buyer past Boynton Beach, it's better for me to refer that out. It takes away from the time from the customers who are within my area, my demographic, people that I would like to work with. Okay. So that was it. That was niche down. Let me see what else I had on here. Also, when you niche down, I had an example. You could either be Dr. Phil as a social worker, getting paid lots of money, or you can work for DCF. Nothing wrong working with DCF, but you're not getting paid, right? So you want to master your craft. Dr. Phil, I'm not a fan of Dr. Phil, but Dr. Phil is essentially a social worker, and he gets paid pretty well. I think the last one, because I don't want to go too long. Get into the bag 2022. You got to sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice because you're going to have to spend time on your craft. You're going to have to spend time knowing yourself. You have to spend time getting to understand the customers that you want, etc. So you're going to have to sacrifice. I don't know what you want to sacrifice, people. I don't know what you want to sacrifice. I'm going to tell you what I did. In 2000 and I want to say 13 or 14, this was kind of put before me while I was working with the city at the time. And one of the things they said that one of my coaches told me was that I'm going to have to sacrifice. I need to pick what I wanted to sacrifice. And I said, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice sleep. I'm going to sacrifice having fun. I'm going to sacrifice like escapism, a lot of TV, etc. And that's what I did. That's why I'm up at 3:30 in the morning. That's why I'm here with you guys at 9 o'clock before I go back to sleep. And I'm telling you, sleep is important. I'm just telling you what I was willing to sacrifice. You're going to have to figure out what you're willing to sacrifice. Saturday, January 1st, this past January, New Year's Day, is a big day in real estate. It's a lot of phone calls being made. There's more homes that come off the market on New Year's Day than any other day. And I work with homes that come off of the market unsold. And so what does that mean? That means that I can't stay up New Year's Eve and have a crazy time because I need to be on the phones focused at 8 o'clock in the morning. That's a sacrifice, right? Because I could be hanging out. I could, just be up, whatever it is that people do on New Year's Eve. It's not like I didn't do it, going to Miami, going to parties, whatever it is on New Year's Eve. But I couldn't because I know Saturday is probably one of the biggest days. Not probably, is one of the biggest real estate days for listing agents. So that's what I had to do. Was in bed by probably 9:30, 10 o'clock. Was up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Getting ready, getting prepared for 8 o'clock for me to hit the phones. You're going to have to sacrifice something. You're going to have to sacrifice Netflix. You might sacrifice spending a lot of time with different friends. You might have to let loved ones know about the sacrifices because you need this time. You need this time to develop these skills because here's the thing. Once you develop these skills and you master it, no one can take it away from you. And not only can no one take it away from you, but then you can take it to any industry, right? You can start working with the big fish. One of the biggest ways to gain wealth is working with like the government. Or is it working with the government or big corporations? I remember someone told me that. Like, why work with in a B2C business to consumer, direct to consumer, when you can work a B2B, business to business. You can lay tile for different corporations and businesses and get paid a lot of money. Get contracted out for tens of millions of dollars, actually, with dealing with the federal government. If you master your craft, if you make the sacrifices, if you get a high paying or high revenue generating skill. I'm wondering if it makes sense. If it makes sense, put a 1. If it makes sense, put a 1 in the chat. And just some things as I get off. Let me see, what's this? 5 a.m. on January 1st, entrance seminar, success leaves clues. Let me tell you something. And there's a book, my new book that I'm reading. Oh man, it's actually in the bedroom. I'll share it later. The book was talking about oh my god. Give me a second. I have to go get this book. All right, forgive me, guys. Look, this book. What is it? The Science of Success. Wallace D. Wattles. It's almost like the precursor. It's the precursor to Think and Grow Rich with Napoleon Hill. And Jason, that's exactly what he talks about. That's exactly what he talks about. I'm gonna read something in here. Oh man. Basically, he talks about there's the way that people there's a certain way that people do things, and it's almost like a law. Oh man, I should have. All right, I don't know. I'll have to get it. But yeah, but essentially, what Jason says is correct. Success leaves clues, right? So find people. I was going to get into that. Maybe I'll get into it next week in regards to finding and modeling behaviors that people do. Because if anybody else around you can be successful and get rich, you can too. There's no more room for excuses. You can have excuses or you can have results, but you can't have both. Okay. So if anybody that looks like you, anybody that's been in the vicinity, anybody in your locality, state that is successful and doing something that it is that you would like to do, there's no excuse. Follow what they do, see what they do, and do it. I mean, some of the people who are the most successful have some of the craziest origin stories. Some of the craziest origin stories. Okay. You all can get it. There's no excuses. Leave excuses back in 2021. Just get up and get to it. Jason was up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, right? And that was another thing I was going to get into, maybe, and I'll talk about it next week, is that I named a bunch of these high revenue, high paying jobs or high paying skills. Most of them have to do with, your mental acuity. And part of your mental acuity is the ability to stay focused. And you have to understand that most of the things that keep people broke or poor, whatever it is that you want to call it, is because of them not being able to handle, excuse me. a lot of confusion, a lot of distractions. You have to stay focused. You have to stay focused. So people, I'm gonna leave you with that. If you have any questions, remember, DM me, talk to me. I'm available. I appreciate you all for checking in. Happy New Year. Let's make this one the best year ever, so that next year we can make it even better. Love you guys. I'll check you out later.